Welcome back, everyone, to another Too Good for Theaters video here today. We're going to be breaking down the Patriots' loss to the Houston Texans by a final score of 41-21. However, Drake Maye looks very promising in his first NFL career start, and there's plenty to build on from this Patriots team, so let's get right into this breakdown. So starting off with the offense here, a little bit of a mixed bag day for the offense. While they did look probably their best that they have all year thus far, just the turnovers really ended up costing them in this game. Starting off with the first one, that was solely on Drake Maye. I felt like the protection was really good, and I think he was just kind of easing his way into his first NFL career start there with a little bit of a case of the jitters. The clear overthrow to Demario Douglas that was unfortunately picked off right there by the Texans. And the offense certainly did not help out the defense on many occasions of today with the plenty of short fields that the Texans were able to get. But I do think that this offense was able to kind of have prolonged drives here, and a lot of that was because of Drake Maye's playmaking and extensions of plays. In particular, I remember a couple of times where he was able to kind of break out of the pocket and scramble for a first down by himself, or if he was just extending the plays and hitting guys like Hunter Henry open across the middle of the field. But a really nice rapport between Demario Douglas and Drake Maye today, and I felt like that was kind of because of how Houston was kind of playing it. Obviously, Pop was in the slot, and they really did take advantage of those throws across the middle of the field today. And, of course, there was that big one to Pop, I believe, in the third quarter or early fourth, where they were able to kind of hit on that big touchdown on that crossing route right there. But really how the Texans kind of played him, I feel like Drake Maye really did show off his explosiveness, and I'm excited to see this from this Patriots offense because when they took those deep shots and were able to kind of hit those plays, it was against man coverage. And especially between Pop as well as the throw to Kayshon Boutte there to really kind of cap off that 2-minute drive, which I'll break down a little bit later. The Texans, it looked like they were playing single high safety or no safeties at all in the case of the Demario Douglas touchdown. But on the one where he really kind of dropped that dime into Kayshon Boutte there, it was just man coverage, cover one across the board. And Kayshon Boutte did a real nice job of kind of beating Derek Stingley Jr. there. Kayshon Boutte is certainly up on my kind of stock list this game. He played a real good game today. But Drake Maye absolutely threw a dime for his first NFL touchdown pass, really just right into the breadbasket of Kayshon Boutte there. And it was a really encouraging sign to see that the Patriots were kind of able to beat man coverage. And Drake Maye just absolutely a perfect ball there for his first NFL touchdown there. And that was a great sign leading into the half where the Patriots were only down 14-7. After really just a disaster of a first quarter, Patriots did a real nice job of kind of responding in that second quarter there. But unfortunately, they did have to play the second half, and that's really where the turnover fiesta kind of really started taking over there. Will Anderson absolutely really demolished whoever he was going up against in this game. I believe Demetrius Jacobs gave up a sack, as well as Zach Thomas, I believe, too, to Will Anderson, and he really just had himself a day. Obviously, the strip sack there on the first series of the third quarter set up a short field there for the Texans. And the Austin Hooper fumble, while it was a nice play of really kind of catching the ball and making a move up the field there, you kind of just got to secure that ball. It was a real good punch out there by the Texans secondary, but you just got to be more smart and really just know your limits and go down there. But Drake Maye certainly showed off some explosive plays. And he was able to kind of lead a couple of touchdown drives that really Jacoby Brissett and this offense just frankly has not happened throughout the first couple of days or the first couple of games. But I believe after that, after the Texans did score on that drive, I believe on that Austin Hooper fumble recovery, Drake Maye actually led the team down on a 7-play touchdown drive, capped off by the Hunter Henry touchdown. But once again, just hitting Pop across the middle of the field there for a couple of big chunks right there. And that was certainly a matchup that Drake Maye took advantage of. Obviously, we all know how he used to love throwing the ball across the middle in college, and that really kept up. So the rapport with Demario Douglas is certainly something that I'm going to be looking forward to, as well as Hunter Henry and these tight ends. If they're able to kind of work the middle of the field into these shorter routes, maybe some like flood routes, where they're either going to be dragging across the middle of the field, some potential stick routes, or even some crossing routes with the tight ends, that would be very encouraging to see. And I think that Alex Van Pelt called probably his second best game of the year thus far after the Cincinnati game. But I think he did a real nice job of kind of catering to Drake Maye in this game. And it really did allow the Patriots, with their adjustments made to how the Texans were kind of playing with that cover zero look, as well as kind of sometimes dropping them guys back, of really attacking the middle of the field and putting Demario Douglas in spots to just have himself one of his better career games, and certainly his best game thus far this season. So that was a very encouraging sign of Alex Van Pelt kind of making that adjustment and really attacking the middle of the field and playing to his quarterback strengths there. But, I mean, as a New England fan, you got to be really encouraged with what Drake Maye really showed off today. Unfortunately, there was that kind of ricochet interception, which I really don't put on Drake Maye. That's just a really good play by Will Anderson, I believe, was the one who knocked it up. And then I don't know how they came down with that ball. I mean, that was kind of crazy how Austin Hooper was basically blocking the guy, and the guy basically just wrapped the football around his helmet. And unfortunately, the Texans were able to come away with that turnover. But I really don't put that on Drake Maye right there. I think that's just a great defensive play by the defensive lineman, and just really an unfortunate bounce kind of right to a Texans defender there. But he did a real nice job of kind of moving this team down the field. And I think a lot of that was just because of his playmaking ability, as well as his ability to throw the ball down the field, which the Patriots have virtually not had thus far in the first couple of weeks through this season there. But really good job by Drake Maye. Had another big-time drive later in the game with that 30-yard touchdown to Pop Douglas, like I mentioned before. But it was just a really nice job there on that drive in particular, kind of using his legs. I believe that was the one where he had that 15-yard scramble, which helped to pick up a first down on a third down conversion, I believe it was. But you really just kind of saw what made Drake Maye the third overall pick, and he did a real nice job of kind of establishing himself in with these young receivers today, that being Demario Douglas as well as Kayshon Boutte. But a big down for me today was Jalen Polk, multiple drops. Had that real bad drop where it was a little bit of a contested catch, but you still got to come down with that. You're an NFL wide receiver, where Drake Maye absolutely just put a dime on you in a contested catch scenario, and that's the ball that you have to win, especially if you're going to be this team's X receiver of the future. And you really got to establish that rapport with Drake Maye, and Drake Maye really just put it in the perfect spot, and unfortunately you were unable to come down with it. I believe he had another drop along the sideline later in the game there as well, and really just I did not see him getting open a lot of times in this game, and when he did get open, unfortunately he dropped the ball, was held to one catch today, which was very unfortunate. But offensive line very much continued to struggle today, and this time I felt like it was more on the outside, especially in the pass protection. Unfortunately for these guys like Zach Thomas and Demetrius Jacobs, who have only been here for like a couple of weeks now, they're going up against one of the better pass rushers in the league, with Will Anderson as well as Danielle Hunter on the other side. And on paper, it's not that bad. They only gave up 4 sacks, but there was a ton of pressure on Drake Maye all day. And they really just weren't able to establish the ground game at all in this game. Antonio Gibson, I believe, had like 9 carries for 17 yards. And Terrell Jennings kind of got bottled up there in the last drive of the game. But really, the majority of the time, I think the Patriots finished with 86 rushing yards, and Drake Maye, I believe, had around 35 of those yards himself. So really just could not establish the run game whatsoever today. And Texans did a real nice job of making the Patriots one-dimensional, which is another encouraging sign if you are a New England fan, though, from this offense. Drake Maye did a real nice job, even though the Texans really kind of played them into that one-dimensional style type play. Did a real nice job of kind of overcoming that, and didn't have major success today, but showed enough to really kind of solidify himself as the future of the Patriots quarterbacking staff. And I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but Drake Maye looked very good in this game. Had a lot of adversity to overcome, and I think he handled himself pretty well. He composed himself after that early mistake and did a real nice job of kind of executing when he needed to. As well as it was kind of just an encouraging sign to kind of see the Patriots beat man coverage often in this game. I know they've, in the past couple of years, really haven't had that success against man coverage. And I know for a fact that this offense really hasn't faced a lot of two-shell safety looks that this league is kind of running at will now, and they've been facing these cover one looks just because they know for a fact that the Patriots really can't throw the ball down the field. But Drake Maye did a real nice job today of being able to convert some deep shots, and hopefully that's going to allow teams to stop playing this cover one and maybe open up this ground game a little bit when they're not facing such a monstrous defensive line but when you have to play that too deep safety look because of Drake Maye's explosiveness, it's going to open up a lot underneath. So hopefully that's something that this offense can build upon while you do take your deep shots every now and again when you're able to really control the short area as well as kind of getting this run game established, especially when Ramondre Stevenson comes back. That'd be encouraging to really see how this offensive playbook kind of opens up and if they're kind of able to run this play action game and establish the short throwing game to potentially even hit deeper shots and kind of scheme open some big plays for Drake Maye to have some easy completions. But on the day, I'd say that Drake Maye performed fairly well. Besides that early mistake, I think he did a pretty nice job. The accuracy was a little iffy every now and again, but I think he did a real nice job of kind of diagnosing a few coverages that the Texans were throwing his way, and he was able to make some big plays, especially in the middle of the field and to a lot of his receivers. And this is certainly the best. It's probably going to be the highest graded receiving game for these Patriots wideouts, which is an encouraging sign if Drake Maye can kind of get them going into this offense and hopefully establish a new dynamic offense on the outside that could really hit on some explosive plays there. But I would say an encouraging day for the offense. They had their season high in points, and Drake Maye throwing 3 touchdown passes in his first NFL start is certainly an encouraging sign. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball here, Patriots defense really just had themselves a poor showing today, and the Texans really kind of dominated in all the areas that they really wanted to in different aspects of this game. Early on, it was the passing attack, especially in that first quarter. C.J. Stroud really was doing a nice job of kind of picking this defense apart, and guys like Tank Dell was getting favorable matchups against Jonathan Jones and Marcus Jones where he was able to take advantage, as well as Stephon Diggs just winning his matchups against Gonzo. It was not an encouraging sign here for the Patriots secondary on the day, as well as in the run defense game. I believe this is the second time in 3 weeks that the Patriots have allowed an 100-yard rusher. That's not an encouraging sign whatsoever. However, I have more so an issue with really how they're defending the edge in the run game. I think that the guys on the inside, guys like Roy as well as Devon Gottschall, have done a nice job of kind of plugging up the middle. However, a lot of these teams are just having success getting to the edge against the Patriots, and their ends and linebackers really just aren't doing a good job of kind of setting the edge there. I believe all of Joe Mixon's big-time runs really came on these kind of like pitch plays or outside zone schemes where he was kind of able to stretch this defense and just take off into the secondary where he's a hard back to kind of bring down. And then that Dameon Pierce run that really kind of just capped off this game, 54 yards, I believe, was another toss play, or it was certainly a play to the outside, but just a real poor job by this Patriots defense, kind of setting the edge, especially in the run game there. And the Texans did a real nice job of kind of exploiting that mismatch that they had and really took advantage of the Patriots' lack of effort as well as execution on those stretch runs. But moving on to the defensive line from a pass rushing standpoint here, the Patriots are going to have to find ways to get more pressure. Another encouraging sign, however, though, is Jaquarius Roy got his second sack in back-to-back weeks here. The practice squad called up defensive tackle, who got elevated last week. Like I said before, got himself his second sack today, so that's an encouraging sign. It was a little bit of a coverage sack, but hell, we'll take it. But the Patriots do need to find ways of getting better pressure, and I do think that they started blitzing more in the second half, which we saw some plays kind of get blown up where the Texans really weren't able to kind of have the success they had in the first half in the passing attack, but the floodgates were really open on the ground game there. So the Texans at that point kind of had this game wrapped up, especially with how they were running the football and the kind of a little bit of the turnover struggles with the Patriots. But it was good to see guys like Kyle Duggar return for you, as well as Sione Takitaki. He's certainly going to help out this linebacker rotation from a pass coverage standpoint. One of the better pass coverage linebackers in the league there. And really kind of just allows this linebacking core to have a more stable rotation where guys are able to kind of get a little bit of a break and get some energy on the sideline. And kind of play that scenario where if early downs you want to have Raekwon and Tavai on the field compared to having Sione on passing downs, that's certainly going to help out with this linebacking core there. But obviously missing Jawan Bentley as well as Christian Barmore on this defensive line has really just taken its toll. They haven't really been able to establish constant pressure like you'd like to see. And this Christian Barmore injury, you're just feeling it more and more every single week with the inability to get pressure. And once you get Christian Barmore back, hopefully you are able to get him back at some point this season. He's able to get constant pressure from the inside. One of the better defensive tackles of getting pass rush pressures from the inside there. And hopefully that's going to open up guys like Keon White and Dietrich Wise to kind of have more success on the outside where they're not getting as much attention. But like I said before, DeMarcus Covington has his hands full. He's going to have to start sending blitzes. I actually saw that he sent that safety blitz today with Marte Mapu. Patriots did a real nice job of disguising that look where Marte Mapu looked like he was going to drop back into coverage there. And they're going to send like kind of that big front blitz where the linebackers kind of drop down. However, I believe it was Sione Takitaki actually dropped back into pass coverage, and Marte Mapu was able to get to the quarterback, as well as I believe Daniel Aquale had a real nice pressure on that drive. But unfortunately, just the Patriots defense did not show up today. Gonzo really took, I would say that this was probably Gonzo's worst game in terms of guarding that number one option from a coverage standpoint. Stephon Diggs, I would say, really took the matchup to Gonzo today. I believe he had 6-7 receptions, and I believe, honestly, all of them, except for one, might have been on Christian Gonzalez, and really kind of got beat on that touchdown one where it was just a one-on-one matchup, and kind of Stephon Diggs hit him with that fake outside move into that post route that Gonzo kind of bit on there, and C.J. Stroud was able to hit Stephon Diggs for an easy touchdown there. But not an encouraging sign for this defense, and this team really just has to start playing more complementary football. If the offense does have one of their better days, so does the defense, but the offense is really setting up the defense in some poor scenarios, and the defense certainly is not helping out the offense in terms of giving out a lot of long drives here. And I'm really waiting for this Patriots defense to kind of clamp down, and hopefully it might be through returns of guys like Christian Barmore from injury, but Patriots defense has been a little underwhelming for me so far this season. I understand that anytime you lose one of the best defensive coaches of all time, if not the best, in Bill Belichick, you might have a little bit of a drop back from a defensive standpoint, but really I do think that this Patriots defensive coaching staff has to figure out ways to get more pressure on the quarterbacks and especially just kind of keep them contained. I do think they did a better job of containment this week against C.J. Stroud compared to the last 2 weeks, but unfortunately I think their edge defense in the run game really cost them today, and it allowed the Texans to kind of run away with that game, both figuratively and literally. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up this analysis of another deflating Patriots loss here. Next week, they do go international, traveling to London to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below, your predictions for that game. Do the Patriots really have any bit of shot to take on the Jags, who are absolutely struggling? I believe they are the only winless team in the NFL right now. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And once again, thanks for watching.